Before you start investing in crypto assets, you need to understand where they come from and how they work. By the end of this section, you'll be able to distinguish between multiple attributes of the blockchain system, compare the differences between proof of work and proof of stake, and provide examples of the 3 different types of crypto assets. So let's start by talking about the blockchain. What is this technology that people are considering to be transformational? First, if you take out your mobile phone and take a selfie, then send that photo to somebody else, you'll know that there's 2 copies of the photo now in cyberspace. The blockchain allows you to create a digital asset that's unique, and that if you transfer it to someone else, there's still only one of those digital assets. And that was the original thinking behind the Bitcoin white paper, a peer-to-peer cryptocurrency system where there's a unique digital asset that can be easily transferred, and everyone sees the transfers occurred. So let's see how this ecosystem breaks down. First, the most important part of the ecosystem is likely the developers, because these are the computer programmers that write the code, design the system, and are responsible for upgrading and maintaining the network. Next, you've got miners. And miners are a large network of computers and supercomputers that will secure information to the blockchain securely and allow you to access it when necessary. And lastly, you've got users. Users are just like you and I. We're the ones who are going to use these digital networks to transfer something of value. Now, the way this space operates is very reflexive. If you have a strong team of developers and you've got a large network of miners, you're bound to have a big group of users. So when we start evaluating how these different blockchains and cryptocurrencies work, we have to first think about how strong is the foundations underneath them. Now, everyone tries to understand what's a decentralized system, and can you give an example of one? Well, think about this for a minute. If you were to go to the bank and transfer $100 to your friend, you go up to the teller, and they check the bank ledger to make sure you have the funds in your account, and then they make sure your friend has an account in the bank, and they do the transaction for you. They're not really moving money per se, as opposed to just making a record in a ledger where your funds exist. So if you think of that in a decentralized way, it would look like you standing on stage in a town hall, and there's 10 people in the audience with ledgers, and you announce something, I want to send $100 to my friend, and each of those people with ledgers checks to see you have the funds in the account, and then writes down the transaction. Now, if one person doesn't hear what you said, you don't have a problem because there's 9 others that are in agreement. But what happens if 6 of those individuals with ledgers in the crowd decide that what you said wasn't really true? And this is how blockchains operate. They try to come to a consensus among groups of individuals to agree on something and to validate that something is true. And they do this by using a native digital asset. And that native digital asset is considered a cryptocurrency or a crypto asset. So let's give you a few attributes of the blockchain. First, like I said, they're a decentralized system. In this case, you can have information not just to those 10 people sitting in your audience, but to any computer running the network in the world. Next, information is added in a cryptographic fashion. And what that means is you can see that there is something there, that there's some value there, but you can't access it without a special or a private key. And lastly, information is added in a way that's totally immutable. Once a block is created in a blockchain, it can never be reversed without having more than 51% of the power of the network. And you'll see when we start talking about the different consensus mechanisms that secures these networks that it's almost impossible.